Good Sunday morning, friends. Don't forget. Okay, look, there's a reason why I've had that hanging anywhere where people could find me for the last, I don't know, I bought that thing back in 2017. So what, that's 8 years? Because all this other stuff doesn't really matter unless we all be nice to each other. Okay? So now let's look at getting some money. It's a Sunday morning, the Sunday after Christmas. It's almost noon. I'm on the Bitcoin chart. My facial paralysis is in full effect today. So I'm feeling I feel like hell, right? But I want to see there's an opportunity for me to sit here and add a little bit to my coffers. So you can learn, you can see that you can add to your coffers. And then, I'm going to invite you to come to my podcast, the fourth C.live. It's and then the numeral 4, THC, the fourth C.live. And that's where I go into some commentary on the state of our economic world. Just so happens that, I'm interested in economics. Surprise. There's the Easter egg of the day. All right, so I've been sitting here, move the timer. In fact, you know what? Let me do this. The timer is now back where it used to be. There we go. Now the VMAX is telling me that I should be looking for a sell. Price action and the SMAX are telling me I should look for a buy. So I guess that means we're going into a sideways market. And so we've been at this 3 minutes. So we're gonna give it a second. Now this is a learning lesson for those of you who are considering the getting involved. Sometimes you just have to wait. It's like being at a red light. You're at the red light and there's cars going across the intersection in front of you. Now you see a little break. The light's still red. There's a cop right around the corner. So you'll always run this red light. Do you go? Well, if you don't care about the ticket, maybe you go. If you don't care about, your long-term health interests, and you're getting into a car accident, you think, oh, whatever, no big deal, you go. If you think crashing into that school bus, wiping all those kids, is something you can live with, you go. Otherwise, you just sit at the red light and you wait. Now, VMAX is giving me some upward trajectory in alignment with the SMAX. And guess what? The LMAX. Look at that. The light might be turning green. Potentially, that's a yellow light. Yeah, because look at that. We were still at a red light. So this is kind of weird. Our traffic light signal works a little bit different. It goes from red to yellow to green. It goes from green to yellow to red. Yellow, there's always a yellow in the middle, right? This point on the VMAX was higher, so that explained that little tiny move right there, right? You're like, but Liam, the little tiny move was. Let me give you a little more. I'm talking about this here. I'm talking about this little flat candle. Justified. These two candles, right? You're like, but Liam, they were ahead of that was before those. Yeah, that's what the VMAX is about, being ahead of the market, if you know how to read it. Now, this candle, this on the VMAX right here, this is lower than that one. So that means we're going back into, we had a higher, so that meant a higher move, lower. So that now a lower move, a lower rejection off a higher rejection is indicative of sideways. This was indicative of the downtrend, right? Because we had lower and we had lower. So there's the lower that was leading to. Now, I said a few minutes ago, sell. I'm looking for a sell because I'm looking at this here. This was a lower, significantly lower, right? Now there's that Well, that's that price action. And we're getting some play on the SMAX. SMAX is now our friend to the downside, right? Now, you can either, you can watch this thing forever. Let me tell you something. I can mentor you for a registration fee, right? Or, now listen, I guess really I'm not going to say or you can sit here and you can register for you can get the VMAX, you can watch the VMAX, and you can figure it out. It's if you can see pattern recognition, you can see the VMAX, right? But how long that'll take you, I don't know. Now, I paid my mentor that taught me about sentiment-based trading. He didn't have the VMAX, he had something else. And then he and I separated ways. And I created the VMAX. And then I mastered the VMAX. And then I said to me, this is not beginner friendly. This is not consumer friendly. Let me offer mentoring. And then even the mentoring still requires you to have an expansive mind space, right? And I realized something. People learn better when they're not under such financial stress. And so for several years, I tried to come up with a way to address that financial stress to be able to learn the VMAX. Eventually, that became the SMAX and the LMAX. Now, that downward move that I thought we were going to have, we didn't get the SMAX, right? So rather than the LMAX did not fire signal on that move. Now, why didn't it? I don't know. The LMAX is where the filters are. The high frequency trade filters are there. The momentum filters are there. There's lots of filters inside there. Now, maybe there wasn't enough momentum. For whatever reason, even though I knew when I sat down here that we had a down. Sorry about that, friends. My sister came knocking. Now, as I was saying, I'm trying to stay the teacher that does what the teacher teaches. Now, what the teacher is about to teach you now is sometimes you just walk away and come back later when things make more sense. And I'm going to tell you why. This market is way too choppy to accurately get on the right side. So it's the first trade of my day, right? So look at this. Let's evaluate what we can see here before we walk away. Because I don't want you to think, oh, it's just too hard, so we're going to walk away. I'm going to expand this. This is the SMAX, right? Now look at this. See how simple, clear this is. The SMAX, we had clear sentiment for a long period of time. Let's see. That was 11:23 to 11:34. So that's 9 minutes. On a 30-second chart, 9 minutes is a long time. Then we had a brief period of indecision. Then from 11:35, so we had 2 minutes versus 9 minutes. Then we had indecision. The indecision period got longer. The indecision period went out from just 1 minute to 2 minutes. Now, as did the sentiment direction. So maybe we had a little bit of hope there, but then look how long this indecision period is by comparison to decision period. Then we have an indecision period. Then we have a change. Then we have an indecision period, really long, and then brief, and now we're going into a continuous indecision period, right? So what that's telling me is yeah, there's probably going to be a breakout somewhere, but right now for my time of day, let's see, for my time of day, about the time I've invested, I'm going to say that this is not my trading period because here's the likelihood. Yeah, so maybe a move will come. Maybe I can grab a little move. Maybe. But more than likely, this pattern right here is going to continue. So what's going to happen is I'm going to get trapped in a lot more of this I'm gonna choose a direction, and then I'm gonna go it's gonna extend. This period of indecision is gonna extend. When it's gonna switch, and then it's gonna extend, and then life is gonna happen. Stress is gonna happen. And I'm going to want to walk away from my bag. So for me, I'm not going to do that. There's that breakout. But look at that. That breakout is on at the oversold with the wick to the bottom. So, and then you got a double top. So chances are, someone jumps in here, they see that, they jump in, market's going to reverse, and they go against you, and then you're going to stay for who knows how long before you just say, you know what, I can't do this, and you're gonna walk away. You're gonna leave your bag. Never never drop your bag. Never leave. See, there it is right there. If you spend enough time doing this, or you spend enough time doing anything, right? It's like the origami, 1,000 swans. My son made 1,000 origami swans back in 2008 once. That was one of the more impressive things I've ever seen done in my life. Taught himself origami, and then learned about the 1,000 swans. If you don't know about the 1,000 origami swans, look it up. It's a great story. And then he did it. So listen, rewind this video, it's a couple minutes, and listen to me paint out the story of what was going to happen. And then watch it happen after I'm done telling you. All right. Now, part of it because I know, part of it because I understand what to look for, and the other part of it is because I put what you need to look for in a tool. Now this looks like dots and lines to someone else, but to you, it looks like information. Okay? You just call yourself Neo.